Hey, all of our Hogs fans, friends, and family members. Today, we are having our very first episode of Hogs Alley Chat. And who better to start this series off than the woman, the owner, the badass boss herself, Michelle Dell. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Candice.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
So
Doing
today's
great.
a pretty important day.
It is. It's our 16th year anniversary
16 years in Las Vegas.
in Las Vegas.
Well, some people don't know this, but actually Hogs and Heifers was born in New York City. So tell us a little about that.
Yes, just like me, except Hogs was born in 1992. I was born a little while before that. So we started in New York City in 1992 in the old Gansevoort Meat Market on 13th and Washington. And I met my husband when he was in the process of building the barn, my first husband, Dell. And, you know, the name Hogs and Heifers they'd come up with the name they actually found the location. When I say they, I mean, you know, Alan and his drinking buddies at the time, right? So it literally, we had the corner on the meat market. Adult juicy fine pork and provision was on one side, there was beef house on the other side, and you know, we literally would have hides of beef and, you know, little roast suckling piglets hanging from, you know, rails that would come out of refrigerated trucks and get slid right into these, you know, refrigerated businesses. And it was just a really crazy, eclectic neighborhood. There was all kinds of fetish clubs in the neighborhood, you know, hardcore fetish clubs. And, you know, there were clubs that you couldn't get into as a man if you weren't on a woman's arm. Jackie 60 was in the neighborhood. The Click Club was in the neighborhood. You know, we had the Lure, leather, uniform, rubber, etc. around the corner. Prior to our opening up there had been, you know, clubs down there like the Anvil and the Manhole. It was a hardcore neighborhood. And that was all the nightlife, and all the day life was a commercial district.
Wow.
And it was a meatpacking district. So it was a neighborhood that had always been a market of one form or another. So it was a light industrial commercial neighborhood. And, you know, lots of tranny hookers all over the place. Because it was a 24-hour neighborhood.
Right.
And it had its different times of transition. It was really a unique place. And it was off the beaten path. And it was that kind of neighborhood that people were like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go into that neighborhood. But I was used to that. You know, I you know, we lived in Tribeca when I was a kid, and that was, you know, warehouse district. Then nobody lived down there when I was a kid. It wasn't Soho or Tribeca that it is
right
now. It was rats and warehouses. So now it was just rats and meat houses. I mean, you know, it was a neighborhood I felt right at home in.
How do you think the vibe in the Las Vegas bar is different from what you had in the New York City bar?
Well, for starters, the New York City bar was tiny. So the entire bar was about 1,100 square feet. And as such, you had control of everything instantly. The second, nobody, you know, no one slipped by. It wasn't like someone came in the door and you didn't see them coming in the door.
Right.
You didn't know they were going into the bathroom or that they were playing pool or whatever. And so we really had this ability to kind of grab people and just, you know, razz them and play with them. And, you know, it was a much more intimate place.
Gotcha. So over the years, how have you been able to keep the bar fresh for the new generations, for your staff?
You know, that's a really good question. And it's one that has been a great challenge over the years. You know, our jukebox is an old jukebox filled with old classic music, right? Whether it's country, whether it's rock and roll, whether it's rhythm and blues, soul music. There was never, and especially in New York City, there was never a lot of, you know, newer music on our jukebox. We used to say there are no hats on our jukebox. You know, we don't put new age country music on our jukebox. What I really discovered is that music is the key to keeping something fresh, and it is the way that you connect generationally.
Right.
So, music is the magic that bridges the gap between generations. Always. Any good wedding DJ knows this to be true.
That is awesome.
And for us, it really is about, you know, there's some music we don't necessarily embrace, right? So whatever new music we bring in, because we don't have a jukebox where, you know, these newfangled jukeboxes where you can Bluetooth from your phone and take over the jukebox, or you can put in more money and cut somebody else's songs out. That's just not happening.
Right.
Right. So the music literally, it moves our room
Right.
completely and entirely. And our bartenders have to learn an entire jukebox in order to do this job properly.
Wow.
And they're learning music that is often generations and generations and generations prior
Right,
to
right.
them. And what I've discovered is over the years, their input has become vital. The input of our new employees and our senior employees, whoever it is, our customers coming in the door, because it is that different energy. We never had psychobilly on the jukebox. Now we have psychobilly on the
Right.
jukebox. You know, we never had punk rock on the jukebox. Now we have punk music on the jukebox. Some of it comes from a lot of the different types of events that we do.
That's awesome.
And so there are certain things that end up, getting put on our jukebox over time. But it really is figuring out, in a lot of ways, how do you connect through music? And so how do you continually embrace a new generation? And it's been tough for me.
Right.
It's been tough for me to let go of being set in my ways. No, that's not Hogs. You can't put that shit on my jukebox. And then recognizing, I said to one of my, a bartender that we're in the process of moving into management, right?
Right.
And we're training her to be the next bartender manager eventually. And I said, I what about festival music? And she looked at me like, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, you go to festivals, right? And it's a different type of music. It's
Yeah.
electronic music,
Right.
or it's, rave music, or do you hear music at any of those events and go, I could clog the fuck out of that
Exactly.
on the bar. I wish I could put this on the jukebox. Well, guess what? Bring it to me.
There you go.
I'm not changing my whole jukebox.
Right.
But is it important to find a way to inspire another generation and at the same time connect with another generation?
Right.
And a younger generation now has, when I was behind the stick, we were always fucking with the youngsters.
Right.
You youngsters. Now the youngsters have a really great opportunity to fuck with us old ones.
Exactly.
And be like, oh yeah, mommy, you don't know this shit, but we do. Let me show you something,
I love it.
And so the beauty of it is really learning how to open yourself up and allow yourself to learn.
Right.
Me, as the head of a team, I have to open myself up to learning from them
That's
and
great.
to allowing them to bring things in and that inspire and energize and regenerate.
That's fantastic.
So
So we are celebrating the 16th anniversary
yes, we
tonight.
are.
We also have Rally in the Alley going on this weekend.
Yeah.
So what can we expect over the next couple days?
Well, that's a loaded question.
It is. I
Because
think so.
I don't know what the hell we can expect based on what we were expecting isn't what we're giving. Like, holy change. We're really good at this. It's like, wait, stop, switch gears. That's not going to work. Let's rewrite the wheel.
Gotcha.
And that happened absolutely. So this year we really thought this was going to be, our first year back having a party on the street. We don't have to get into the long drawn out drama of why, in addition to COVID, that we hadn't been able to do street events
Right.
for so long. So we were expecting this to be our first, street event. We had vendors planned. Our team worked really hard. Penny worked her butt off, and Sandler worked her butt off, and our whole team, everybody worked really hard to create, what would have been a smaller rally this year since Las Vegas Bike Fest isn't happening, and we should have had vendors on the street and motorcycle parking and bike shows and a lot of that sort of in and out activity. We were not planning on putting our giant bar outside. We were looking to bring it back a little old school and do our sidewalk bar. In uncertain times, you just never know how many people are going to show.
Oh, sure.
And so it made sense to kind of make it smaller. We weren't expecting to make it completely smaller.
Right.
But now, for a number of reasons, the opportunity to use our street didn't roll out the way we had expected
Right.
it to. And in the last minute, we weren't able to use the street. So we have completely decided that, we don't need to stick a street right now.
Right. We
We're
can
going to have a
party
party
anywhere.
anyway.
Yes.
You're not going to take our party away from us. No one's going to pull our party out from under us. So, when we first opened, we had a street that we had a lot of motorcycles on, but we weren't doing a lot of activities
Gotcha.
outside. Everything took place inside.
Sure.
And so we're
Bringing
just
it back
bringing it
old
back
school.
inside.
Yes.
And we're going to have a great party. We have a couple of bike shows that are taking place.
Okay.
And we have giveaways that we're going to be giving away. We're giving away giveaways on the door every half an hour.
Prizes.
We have some great raffle
Nice.
prizes. And you know what's amazing is a lot of those prizes came from our vendors who aren't able to be with us.
That's fantastic.
And everyone has been really gracious.
That's
given
awesome.
The absolute last minute change.
That's being part of the community. It's all
you
about,
know,
right?
Our objective is to still make sure that everybody has a great time. I'm hoping that our staff makes money. We have a lot of people that travel to
Right.
join us for this event, as they do every year. And we're all just going to make the best of it. And I just hope everybody comes down and supports us and supports them, because, you know, it's important to me that they do well.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Right.
But, you know, I really do want my staff to have a magical weekend, because they deserve it. And
Right.
they need it. We all need it. We need the love, we need the energy, we need the enthusiasm, and they could use to put some money in their pockets.
Of course.
So I encourage you all to come join us for our 16th year anniversary and double tip and triple tip our bartenders.
Awesome.
That's it.
That's it. Well, thank you for talking to me. But I think the last thing that's left is we need to do a cheers to 16 years. So
Cheers
everybody,
to 16 years.
Cheers to 16 years.
Woo! 16.